Act 2, Scene 8, Month 8, ICU, next morning. Lorca is lying very still in a hospital gown on a bed in ICU. Her face is pale and her eyes are closed. Chris is standing nearby, watching her patient carefully. When Lorca opens her eyes, Chris asks, "How are you feeling, Lorca?" "I feel so bad," Lorca says, her eyes dark with fear. "Am I going to die?" "You've had a level 5 attack," Chris tells her. 5? What happened to 3 and 4? "It happens sometimes. We don't know why." "Are you in a lot of pain?" "Yes." "I can give you more medication." "Will it make me stupid?" "What do you mean?" "Will I still be able to think?" "Well, it depends on how much you need." Lorca shifts uncomfortably on the bed. Looking at her doctor with troubled eyes, she says, "I don't want to be stupid. I have a lot to think about." She hesitates, then asks softly, "Do you think it's my fault, Dr. Carey? Did I cause this?" "Why would you say that?" "It's kind of a life pattern. I was starting to get happy. That's when things always go bad. Maybe there's this precise equilibrium that says you can't be happy too long because it'll upset the balance of the universe. Could it be something like that?" "I'm a research scientist," Chris says. "I don't believe in luck, fate, or a universe that doesn't want you to be too happy. The universe didn't concoct all the toxins attacking your body, Lorca. People did." "It just doesn't seem fair," says Lorca. "I'm too young to be this sick. Am I going to die now?" Evasively, Chris says, "It depends." "Because I'm not ready. I want more happiness. I'm just starting to have some." Looking keenly into her doctor's eyes, she asks, "Have you ever been happy, Dr. C? Really, truly happy?" Chris looks away. "I don't tend to think about things like that," she says. "I didn't either, but I do now," Lorca says. "I think everyone should have at least one special moment when they were really, truly happy. It would be so sad to live your whole life and never have a single, very special moment. Do you have one, Dr. C?" Chris says, looking back at Lorca. "I'll have to think about that." "I'm talking about a memory you hold on to," Lorca says earnestly. "Something that affects the way you see things, that changes the colors of your world." Wistfully, Chris murmurs, "I can't even imagine that." Lorca sits up a little straighter, gathering strength to try to help her doctor understand. "Well, maybe if I tell you mine, it will help you remember a happiness you've forgotten. Do you mind, Dr. C? Do you have time?" "I'm listening," Chris says. "Okay," says Lorca, her eyes intent on Chris. "This happened when I was a little kid. My mom took me outside and we sat on the back steps watching the sun go down. She pointed at the colors and told me their names. Names that were as beautiful as they were. Crimson, vermilion, cerulean. Ever see that, Dr. C? Ever sit outside and watch the clouds ignite like they're on fire and the sky colors shift and change and blend till it all goes black and the stars come out sparkling like a big finale? It was so glorious. I didn't even notice how cold I was, but my mom knew. She wrapped her arms around me and held me close. I loved that time." "Do you think that's what heaven is, Dr. C? Going back to the place you were the happiest?" I don't spend too much time thinking about those things, Chris says, but it's probably much more wonderful than that. We just can't comprehend it. Lorca sighs. Well, I hope there's a heaven, and that she's in it. I miss her. She was so beautiful, and then she wasn't. Maybe my dad couldn't bear to see her like that, or maybe he was so overwhelmed he couldn't risk loving anyone anymore. She pauses, remembering that painful time. Chris waits in the silence, remembering her own times of pain. Abruptly, Lorca asks, "Do you think I'm ugly, Dr. C?" "Why would you say that?" "Because Greg says I'm beautiful, and I never thought I was. I have a lot of scars." "We all have scars," Chris replies. "It's part of being human. But then we have to choose what we do with our hurts. Blame, bitterness, resentment, that's what makes us ugly, not our scars." My mom used to say things like that, Lorca says, tears starting in her eyes. I miss her so much. Moms should be here at times like this. With a heroic effort, Lorca sits up and stretches out her arms. Chris hesitates, then accepts and returns Lorca's embrace, stroking her hair, comforting her as Lorca sobs in her arms. Chris does not try to get away. She holds this hurting child whose sorrows she herself knows too well. Finally, Lorca lets go and settles herself painfully back onto her pillow. Her face is relaxed, her eyes soft with peace. Last night, Greg told me he loves me, Lorca says. Really? He thinks I'm complex, mysterious, and deep. And what do you think about him? I think he's cute. They laugh. You know what, Dr. C? I told him something I've never told anyone. I'm listening, says Chris. I told him my dad named me. Most of my life he ignored me, but for whatever reason, he wanted to do that. Is Lorca a family name? No. It's his favorite playwright, Federico Garcia Lorca. Did he tell you why? No. Maybe he wanted me to be a famous writer or something. I don't know. He never said. But all my life, I've tried to live up to that name, whatever that means, so he'd be proud of me. What did Greg think? He said maybe it wasn't about something my dad wanted me to do. Maybe it was something he wanted me to be. Unique, original. Greg said that? I know. Who would have guessed? Smiling, Chris says, complex, mysterious, and together they say, deep. They laugh. He's been asking to see you about every 5 minutes. I really want to see him, Lorca says. I'll let him visit after you've gotten more rest, Chris assures her. Quietly, Lisa enters. In a low voice, she says, Excuse me, doctor. May I see you a moment outside? I'll be right there, Chris says. She lays a comforting hand on Lorca's shoulder and smiles at her. I'll be back later to check on you. Try to get some sleep, okay? Okay, Lorca says peacefully. Lights dim out on Lorca and come up on Chris and Lisa standing downstage left. We have a near mutiny on our hands, Lisa says. The kids want Lorca with them in their room. But she can't. She's too unstable. I told them that, but they won't listen to me. It's impossible, Chris says adamantly. She's in stage 5. Neurostorms will be accelerating any time now. Pain will be intractable. She wouldn't want them to see her like that, and she won't even know they're there. What's the point? I know. They know. Won't you talk to them, please? All right, says Chris with a resigned sigh. Tell them I'll be up soon.